Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from a news up at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Hammoah Agyemang.
This evening here on Hot Edition, hundreds of Agyemang youth storm Electoral Commission's offices here in the Greater Accra region to demand a redeclaration of the December 7 parliamentary elections in the Agyemang constituency. Details shortly.
Also tonight, Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin directs parliamentarians to focus on urgent business of government to allow state machinery to continue to function as the House reconvenes.
Also, Ghana Health Service begins a 4-day vaccination drive to contain the spread of cholera in 4 districts of the Western region. We've got details for you, plus happenings in Parliament. And Parliament just went on just a quick break to continue on the issues that have been tabled so far. Keselato forcing and raising alarm over plans to buy ships worth 140 million euros. Dominic Nituwo has been justifying, that's the Minister for Defense, has been justifying this decision by government. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, plus the latest in business and sports coming up over the next 1 hour. 30 minutes. Stay with us here on Hot Edition. Let's get into the details of the stories now, and some details we're getting from these happenings at the Electoral Commission. That's the Greater Accra Regional Office. Hundreds of Irish youth in the Agyemang constituency this afternoon besieged the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission to demand the recollection of the Agyemang parliamentary election. This follows the declaration of Jerry Ahmed Shaib as the MPP's parliamentary candidate as a winner in the Agyemang constituency during the 2024 general election. Shaib secured 32,608 votes, narrowly defeating Felix Odate Lamte of the NDC, who garnered 30,460 votes in a closely contested race. However, this afternoon, some youth believed to be sympathizers of the NDC have stormed the Electoral Commission to register their displeasure and demand a rerun or recollation of the results in the Agyemang constituency during that election. And George Kwene is a man who was there earlier today. George, what exactly are they demanding? A reason why they besieged the Electoral Commission office today?
So on the 7th of December, when the elections were conducted, the 3rd was fraught with some irregularities and discrepancies. So actually they walked off before the declaration of the results, and so they want a clear position of the AEC. Should there be a rerun or recollation of results? A reason they've been there since Thursday, and they sent a petition on Thursday to ensure the EC gives it position, and they were following the feedback on Monday, and they couldn't really stand the delay by the Electoral Commission. That's the reason they had to even go beyond the patience and even bend ties, throw stones. You should see the size of the stones that were being pelted at the police officers. These are pavement blocks, as big as pavement blocks.
Pavement blocks?
Yes. And the scenes were very, very, honestly, I can't even describe them, but it was not a great scene at all. But the leadership of the party was able to, get through on these matters. They spoke to the police and the EC officials. They made them aware that it really takes time. When you bring petitions like this, it takes time. You don't expect to get direct feedback when you do that. And so that's what the leadership had to convey that to the party supporters, who were actually aggrieved before they actually badged and then had to leave the premises.
I see. And so they left the premises without any assurance of their demands being met.
So they were told to come back on Wednesday and get a feedback, which of course will be the final position of the Electoral Commission, whether they're going to recollate the results or there's going to be a rerun. Because they also alleged that on 4 days after the elections, they saw the EC official and the returning officer trying to alter the pink sheet just to, correspond with what was declared on the D-Day. So that's what they are alleging. Whether that is true or not, we cannot really testify. But they are saying 4 days after the elections, they found them, and that's the evidence that they say they have. So if these officials are altering the result to correspond with what was declared on Thursday, then actually it begs for more answers than questions.
So they are against a recollation exercise, or they want the EC to give them a roadmap on
a roadmap, exactly.
in the constituency.
Yeah. So as it stands now, if you remember, some constituencies had to be recollated in terms of results at Tesano, and they were not part of it. So what that means is that the East is still stand that
the vote,
exactly that's what it is. But there for them, it's not what it is. It's either we're going to recollate or we're going to rerun the entire elections.
Oh, okay. So yes, it's like an opposite of what has been happening in the other constituencies.
Exactly the case. Yeah.
I see. Well, let's take a listen to a number of them and the demands that they were making, George, earlier today.
Sure. And also delayed counting up to 10 p.m. Aside all that, they top it up with a criminal act by going to now fill the collation form to balance with the results that they so-called declared. That renders the whole result null and void.
Okay. Is that why your supporters were visibly upset?
The agitation of people out there, and if you call them our supporters, you are getting it wrong.
Who are they?
They are constituents of Agyemang. They queued to cast their votes. They were given an opportunity to determine who will lead them in the constituency. And that is what they did. So for somebody to twist their arm and give their mandate to another person, nobody will sit back and then watch that. So they are not here to support anything. They are here to also protest and demand for their rights.
They were pelting stones.
I am not aware. I was up there trying to convince the AC lady. But the police are here. So please, we would like to deal with the substance of the matter. Okay, let's do the substance of the matter.
So you said they've declared results that to you are null and
We
void.
said-
And after declaration, we know that you have to head to court if you have any challenges with them. Why are you not in court but you are here?
If you understand what I said, I asked the question that if you go to school with a fake certificate and you are caught, what will happen to your admission? It will be revoked. You don't go to court to go and revoke your admission. The school can take
that definitely doesn't apply to the to election, because the elections regulations are different from school admission.
If that doesn't apply to the elections, let the EC lady come and tell us that this grievous criminal administrative breach should go this direction. It is not captured in any part of the CI. Where in the CI stated that when an act of criminality, faking and falsifying election results, and confessing to that, where in the CI does it make provision for that?
How many of the polling stations do you have problem with?
It is not a matter of polling stations. They were falsifying results. We will get into the details of polling stations. But if they were falsifying results, there is the collation form upon which they should have declared the winner was not complete, and they declared the winner. What was the basis of declaring the winner? What was the basis of the figures that they mentioned there?
So you disagree with the entire result that was declared?
We have stated our position that there was an act of criminality, and the election result, so-called declared, did not have any basis, because the basis, which is the collation form, was not completed on that day, and it was being filled 4 clear days after the election. You can make your own interpretation from there.
But, Honorable, let me just have a word with you. I have seen...
Well, so, George, who did we just hear?
So that's Raymond Gomez, who is the Deputy Director of IT and Elections, Regional Director, IT and Elections of the NDC.
I see that's for the Greater Accra region.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, when he says these are constituents of the constituency, I don't want to agree with that.
Oh.
They were actually bashed. They were NDC faithful. They were bashed to the. I spoke to one guy who's a delegate, and he says if the party does not really resolve this matter, they're not going to vote for the party again.
I see. But he says that, there's some allegation of falsification of the results, and there was a confirmation of that. Mm-hmm. Did you get wind of this? This detail?
For him, some of the agents did not sign the pink sheet for the final collation. And 4 days after, they called the EC official and the returning officer trying to, alter it just to correspond with what was declared on the GD. And for me, that's the evidence they have. So I'm sure it all has been tabled in the petition to ensure the EC can actually react, maybe in their favor.
So they petitioned the Electoral Commission.
Exactly, which was on Thursday.
That's last week, Thursday.
Yeah.
George, appreciate you for this. George Kwene is a man who was at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the Electoral Commission, and Anthony Nukweno is the NDC Greater Accra Regional Organizer. He's joining us on the telephone. Mr. Nukweno, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Alfred, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Now, I'm sure you've been monitoring what's happening with the Agyemang constituents, and indeed, supporters of your party who stormed the Electoral Commission office here in the Greater Accra region. Specific demand is that they want a redeclaration of the results in the favor of your candidate there. Really, what evidence do you have to make that particular demand?
Okay, good evening to your cherished listeners. May I know who the spokesperson of the group is?
This is the regional deputy IT director. That's Juan Gomez.
He spoke to
the media.
The media.
Yes, the man you just heard. Me just playing his voice.
Oh, okay. He's an appointee of the region, Greater Accra, and I don't know why he granted such an interview, because we are in a certain situation that we all must know what we are communicating. I heard the last part of his communication, and I don't think it's the position of the region. If he, as a regional officer, has evidence contrary to whatever is in the system, I think the best is to submit to his director. His director will bring it to the regional executive committee, who will look at it, ascertain the facts, and make official communication. But I know that we have asked the Agyemang constituency rampaging members to disengage themselves from any further action and leave the matter to the regional executives. Since a declaration has been done, we are all aware of the CI. What we have to do as a region is to review that election, and when we have the full facts, after 21 days of gazette, we file a process at the court to go with our evidence to determine our case. It's not a media war. It's not a fiscal war. That is why when the EC started doing recollation of other regions in Accra, the party took a decision to do what? File an injunction on the process because against the CI. So I don't know why my colleague regional officer will lead people, whether he led them or, but for him to speak on air on the matter, I think we'll take it internally and address. But for now, I just want to state unequivocally that the party regional executives in Greater Accra has not sanctioned any mob reaction towards the EC, asking for a recollation or a declaration otherwise.
I see.
We are reviewing the process. When we have the full facts, if there need be for us to go to the court, to ask the court to take an action, we shall do that.
So what we just saw and what we're just reporting, you're saying that was not sanctioned by the region and the executives of the NDC in the Greater Accra region. The Agyemang constituency executives acted on their own. You didn't know about this?
We have no knowledge. We have not sanctioned. As I speak, I just left the regional secretariat. And myself, the regional secretary, the vice chairman, the regional treasurer, and the Zogo workers, we discussed that issue. And regional secretary told us that he has asked the deputy director in charge of IT at the region to bring the pin sheet of Agyemang for us to sit on and look at the facts. So for him not yet done that, and will be out there taking an action, I think it's in violation to what we are working with. But as I said, it's an internal issue. We'll manage it, exuberance and whatever. But I'm stating unequivocally, no, we have sanctioned no action to EC regional office. We have not communicated anything public to the EC. So anyone in Agyemang will listen to me. I will beg you. I will really, really beg you. Allow this matter to be reviewed by the regional party allow this matter to be reviewed by the regional party in conjunction with the national party for a decision to be made. Rioting, commotion, granting interviews that will not be in line with the party structure, you may be inviting disciplinary action against yourself. We beg you. We beg you. With all due respect, we know the pain you have in your heart. Let's look at it in a certain format, and then we will do it proper for you. We love you.
I see. But you know this Gomez gentleman we're talking about, right?
Gomez is our regional deputy director in charge of IT.
I see.
He is a regional executive member appointed by the elected executives as deputy IT for elections.
Right, but the demand, the explanation he gave, and what you heard as well, that there's, according to him, they have evidence of falsification of results by EC officers there in the Agyemang constituency, and so it's for that reason, to that extent, they had legitimate cause to petition, and in fact, they have petitioned the Electoral Commission to have this matter heard. All of this, you're saying that the regional did not sanction this petition as well to the Electoral Commission?
We have no copy of their petition. We don't have any knowledge about it. That's why I'm saying that the CI that we all work with as political parties states that if a declaration of a candidate is made, I can say it's wrong, it's unlawful. Somebody will say it's right, it's lawful. But the moment whether unlawful or lawful was done, all you need to do is to gather your facts, await a gazette of the results. In 21 days, you file a process. That is what I know. So since we saw a declared result of Agyemang announcing our opponent as the winner, all we have asked is that submit your facts, which are the pin sheets, and what you have collated. A team will review and bring a report. Then we will same submit. It looks long, but that is the only way out. Violence and rioting will not force anybody to do what you are looking for. So he, as the deputy director in charge of IT for elections, if he has all these facts put together, he does not have the sole prerogative to go and lead a mob or demand something or speak to the media. All you need to do is to bring this to the attention of the regional executives for us to look at it and quickly take an action. But I think what is being done, I am totally at loss. At loss. Because it is not in compliance with the orders of the party. It is never in the compliance of the party rules. And I will not sanction such an act. But I've been very cautious to say, since we are dealing with human beings, we are managing people, that all of them don't understand these processes. And largely, some of the people who came there have been misled. We will have to take a very cautious leadership approach to disengage and explain issues to people before it can de-escalate. But if you go in and speak anyhow and they get infuriated, they may cause more harm.
I see.
And that's why I've been very
right.
strategic in my communication.
Indeed, and we can sense that. But so you're not going to sanction these Agyemang executives for acting on their own without recourse to the national or even the regional executives?
It's a process. So as they have heard officially, they are complaining in the public. We are having a meeting tomorrow morning. We will invite them, listen to them, and try and put everybody within the ranks. If you fail to be in the ranks and want to carry the law into your hands, then the constitution will be applied to the latter. And that one, no mercy for the people.
Yes, because we understand that some of them were wielding that's concrete blocks, other implements threatening and in fact burning car tires in the middle of the road near the Electoral Commission office,
So
all of that.
All these things hasn't come to the attention of the party. If not, your producer who called me to alert me. Because we were dealing with another issue at the regional office where same regional executive going to call some young men within Tema Shama, misled them in the name of giving them a job tomorrow at the port. And that whole exercise has been called null and void. He sent the guys to come and attack us at the regional office. It was a sin that was not really good, but we managed it and we were able to pull most of the guys to leave because we took time to explain the processing within transition. Those who understood us and knew that they have been misled to go on rampage in the name of someone promising jobs, which is not in existence. A job that is not in existence. So that was what we were managing. So if your producer will tell you when he called, the whole place was chaotic.
Indeed.
So throughout the day, we have been trying to disengage and de-escalate tension. I've been in Tema. 3 points. I've spoken to youth groups who were part of the early morning action. I've been to the Port and Harbors to speak to the security management because they had an intel and they were on high alert to let them know that we have de-escalated our guys, we have diffused that tension. So we need collaboration to manage this political crisis. So for a regional officer to misinform people of NDC stock to come and beat and kill regional executives in the regional office, I find it so disturbing. And for me, we are making a formal complaint to the party hierarchy. If an action will not be taken, we'll carry our cross.
Nukpenu, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Anthony Nukpenu is the NDC Greater Accra Regional Organizer there. Very interesting detail, Grace. So as we have it, the regional executives say they were not even aware of what the Agyemang executives of the NDC did in leading these young people to the Electoral Commission office to burn car tires, even petition the Electoral Commission to overturn the results in that election, in the parliamentary election in favor of the NDC. The party executives say they did not sanction this. And it brings up matters of security, really, and how the party should be looking at communicating and educating
their
the
grassroots. And all of these supporters, because it could have turned into anything.
Absolutely.
Alfred. Yes.
Richard Commodore is a security consultant. Mr. Commodore, hearing all of this now and the party regional executives saying they're not even aware of what happened at the Electoral Commission office today, where young people of the NDC in the Agyemang constituency burned car ties. They were wielding some concrete blocks, others with some implements threatening issue officials there. And now the party executives say they are not aware of all of this. How does it strike you?
I wasn't thought they are brave the candidates of NDC. These are some of the ways you will know which party has won, which party has lost in this country. It started in the year 2000, and refuse or association with it. Impunity and senseless has become people. And when he speak, he made mention of people misleading others and they were by the party. But that is at the party level. The nation, these are public safety challenges, and there are safety concerns within. The policeman act and act precisely in whereby it's involved. I've said, you know why? Non-punishable offenses will always rationalize bad behavior. Most tendencies in society. It is high time this must stop favoring people, whether they are NDC or they are MPP. Once the law, the sanctions will be applied, and that is to clean up the system and bring sanity to play.
That's a very important point you made there. Bad behavior, when not punished, will be rationalized eventually.
Thank you. That is what it is. And if you consider what has happened for years, such as they see toilets, they sack people from publicity, humiliate our opposition. They do all manner of things in the name of NDC, in the name of MPP. The laws are fairly, and those who the laws need to face the sanctions. As people know, these are the ramifications of bad behavior publicly. Then, before the party comes in, the police must have acted, because if they have killed somebody at the regional office of the NDC, if they have killed somebody at the electoral commission's office, even though the electoral commission has also circumvented some of their rules, which has led to many of these things, then it becomes a serious matter for the state to deal with. Dan Parry must wake up to deal with some of these issues once and for all.
And it's a very important point there. But for the party as well, what should they be looking at doing? And I mean, to ensure that this kind of stance of they not supporting violence of any form trickles down to the last man on the ground?
Two things they must do quickly. The regional executives, not just in Accra, all over the country, need security protection to ensure that their safety is guaranteed. Number two, when people cross the line, they will need to inform the police as quickly as possible. Then the third level of discipline will need to come from people who hold national office within the party, whether NDC or MPP. You see some of these, they are youth organizers and some other people, the way they speak in the public space, give false hope to young people who watch them and see them as role models. And it's also the case and the conversation we need to have who occupies a position within political parties. These have been some of the low points of political party officialdom that do not produce anything meaningful. All we see is rowdiness, all we see is bravado, and all we see is speaking in a manner that does repeat who we are as a nation and as a Ghanaian and as Africans. And after, guess what? These two political parties predominantly control the political narrative in this country. And over the years, if you watch how some of them speak in the public space, that has led to some of the unnecessary violence we have witnessed. And when the people stand against them and they look for help and they do not get some.
Mr. Commander, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Richard Commando is a security consultant joining us on this matter here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Grace?
Alfred, still on issues related to the aftermath of the election, the new patriotic party, NPP, has accused the National Democratic Congress of engaging in acts of lawlessness at collation centers in constituencies where it says the NDC fears losing parliamentary seats. At a press conference, the former national chairman of the party, Peter McMahon, highlighted what the party describes as a deliberate strategy by the NDC to disrupt the coalition process in the remaining constituencies.
To colleagues who could not make it.
Why will anybody who claims to have won an election be interested in destroying the most crucial evidence, in this case, pink sheets and ballot papers, that will confirm his victory? The person who has claimed to have genuinely won an election should rather be interested in protecting the pieces of evidence that will prove that he has indeed won. It is thus not in doubt that the only reasonable conclusion that can be drawn from the lawless conduct of the NDC leadership and their party tax is that they know they have lost the parliamentary elections in these constituencies and are therefore desperately seeking to destroy all the pieces of evidence in order to make it impossible for the victor to prove his victory. The Commission has maintained that all purported declaration of parliamentary results made under duress, as was seen in those constituencies, are not in conformity with laid down processes enshrined in CI 127, hence illegal and will not be upheld. It will not be upheld by the EC. It is therefore our expectation that the EC would immediately resume the collation exercise. We implore the National Election Security Task Force to provide adequate security to facilitate peaceful collation under a serene environment. We are also calling on the NDC leadership to rein in on their supporters.
Former national chairman of the NPP, Peter McMenu, responding to some claims by the NDC and also urging the NDC to call its members to order following some instances of chaos and disturbances at some collation centers after the elections. Alfred.
Well, so matters the aftermath of the election, the Speaker of Parliament, Agyemang, has directed parliamentarians to focus on urgent business of government to allow state machinery to continue to function. This follows a request by the outgoing government for approval of some taxes and concessions, mining and loan agreements, as well as the passage of a number of bills. Now, even before that, today, Alexander Agyemang, the majority leader in this Parliament and MP for Futu, has been talking in the aftermath of the election, saying that the 2024 election results has indeed reflected the voices of the people, and everybody knows their smoothness level now.
We are back from the elections. Democracy has won. We are here as the people's representatives to continue with the rest of government business. We expect to do so in an atmosphere of mutual respect, and then see to the outstanding things to be done, including managing the House with Mr. Speaker. So we've had some very positive engagement, and we are Democrats, we are politicians, we understand. I'm sure the heated atmosphere you saw prior to the elections will not be seen today. I mean, now, as they will say, Obiang on the smoothest level, you know.
So what are the government business that we expect?
Well, I will read them on the House floor.
Honorable, the sentiment among everybody is, you said you were not going to the minority side because it's not spiritually good. Now that you are going to the other side, if you are made a minority, that will sit on the other side.
Understand what I say in context. I remain the leader of government business and majority leader till the 6th of January 2025. I said that it was inappropriate for me to go and sit on the minority bench when I was on the minority leader. If on the 7th of January I am the minority leader, I will sit on the minority bench and keep their feet to the fire. I mean, life continues. Listen, in 1997, MPP came into the parliament of the second parliament with 61 seats. NDC almost had a 2/3. They had over 130 seats. We are just 61, with other small parties joining us, making 67. But the 97 group was very formidable. And in 2000, we managed to overtake them in numbers. In 2004, again, we led the House in the 3rd Parliament. In the 4th Parliament, they took over. In the 5th Parliament, they still control the House. In the 6th Parliament, we had a commanding majority of 169, which was very unprecedented, with over 1 million votes for the presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. In 2020 election, again we had a split parliament, where people say hung parliament, with just a single majority which I lead. Then we had over 500,000 votes for our presidential candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Now come 2024, where they have over 170 seats. C'est la vie. That is life. That is democracy. All right? We congratulate them. The people of Ghana have heard them. They've given them the mandate. Our job in opposition is to do what we're supposed to do, keep their feet to the fire. So this is not something that has to be celebrated in perpetuity. They would have to be magnanimous in victory as we see the next 4 years. We are very positive that come 2028, Ghanaians will return us into office. We are going to take stock, look at where we got it wrong, correct our mistakes, come together as a team, as a formidable opposition, as a formidable minority, not to be disruptive, no violence, no chaos, but to act within the confines of the law, argue on issues, and distinguish ourselves for the people of Ghana to know that this is MPP. We believe in democracy and we accept the result. Safe to say that some outstanding areas that our friends are doing mischief, acting in bad faith, we call on them to appreciate what it entails to engage in this process and allow the EC to do its work. We have 9 more seats that are yet to be declared, and we are very optimistic that if collation is done peacefully in a serene environment, those seats are ours. We have collated our results, and we know we have won them. And please, let me finish. And we know that what our flag bearer did is what has given this country the peace it needs. For the first time in the history of Ghana's democracy, Dr. Bawumia conceded through internal collation, even before Electoral Commission came out publicly to declare. This has never happened in our history. Thank you very much indeed.
That's Alexander Agyemang, Futu MP, leader of the MPP, majority leader in this 8th parliament, is talked about the confidence they have in coming back in 2028. Mawana Egbeta, as my colleague, is sat through the parliamentary proceedings which ended not too long ago today. Mawana, the specific concern that the NDC minority raised about the number of bills that's supposed to be dealt with during this period, short period of sitting. How was that addressed?
Well, there was a lot of difficulty in being able to proceed on that front because the back and forth persisted for quite a while. In certain instances, allegations of mistrust and the NDC caucus making the argument that they had been misled by Alexander Agyemang throughout the processes for coming or putting together the business statement for the House for this week. And so that characterized a lot of the discussion after the initial commentary from both leadership of the House. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, as part of his duty of shepherding the House in the manner and fashion in which business should flow, urged the House to consider some urgent urgent bills, appropriations for the first 3 months of next year, and then some other critical bills, including the Environmental Protection Bill, which he argued were in their final or dying stages. And so, if possible, the House should pick those up so that they could round about briefly. After the back and forth with no clear indication as to what really should be the case, the Speaker had intended to put it to a vote, but the Majority Leader Alexander Agyemang raised an objection to the fact that the business statement of the House, per the rules of the House, is not subject to a vote, and so the argument had to end there and then, despite the minority making the case strongly that they were not a part, were signatory to the details of the business statement for the week and for this particular week. And so the House was subsequently adjourned to 10 o'clock in the forenoon tomorrow, where the expectation is that the statement of account for appropriation for the next 3 months will be the most pressing issues, because that was the argument that was made by the minority strongly, that should take precedence over all things. And so that is the expectation going into tomorrow, Alfred.
I see. And also, I recall that on the matter of some ships that we understand already some 140 million euros to be spent on some ships that the defense minister has also been defending. What exactly came up in that regard?
Well, that and then tax waivers as well came up strongly in terms of the conversations as with regards businesses that should be undertaken by this parliament. The minority made the argument strongly that those are not matters that should concern the House. It should be left for the incoming government to consider, and if they so deem it fit, they take it upon themselves and then proceed. But for them, no other thing outside of appropriation for the first 3 months of next year should take precedence over the conversations of the House in these 9 days, because the Speaker as well mentioned that going into next week, the House will rise again for the Christmas break before they return finally for the last lap onto the night of the 6th of January 2025. And so that was also vehemently opposed by the NDC minority, along with the tax waivers, and all of them saying simply that all other matters must be put on hold for the mini budget to be considered and approved for next year.
Eric Mwawanagbeta, thank you so much. He sat through the proceedings in Parliament earlier today, and on the matters of the bills that the NPP MPs want, some bills including the Free Senior High School Education Bill, the Environment Protection Bill 2024, the Social Protection Bill, and the Customs Amendment Bill, amongst others, passed before it leaves office. However, following the reconvening of the House earlier today, the NDC minority group says it will only support the approval of votes on account to cater for government expenditure. Let's take a listen to what the Speaker has been talking about. In fact, the excerpts of what happened in Parliament earlier today.
Make it. To colleagues who could not make it, there's a better day tomorrow. Do not give up. The Frenchman will say, c'est la vie. This is life. There are good days and bad days. If you lost, get back to the people, understand them, do some research, and I'm quite sure that upon that and reflection, you'll be better prepared for a better day tomorrow. There are some amongst us who lost elections and came back. Go to them, consult them, and engage them. And if you are desirous of remaining in public life, I'm sure you'll make it the next time around. For those of us who have won, let us be mindful of the needs of our people. We should really evaluate, assess, and critically analyze our votes. Those that were coming down, we should know what the people are telling us, so that we'll be better prepared for the next election in terms of the decisions that we will take. Mr. Speaker, with this, I would want to again welcome colleagues.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to congratulate all members who were re-elected in the just ended parliamentary elections. Right Honourable Speaker, again to our colleagues who unfortunately will not be part of the next parliament, I wish them well in their future endeavors. Mr. Speaker, I would like to profoundly thank the good people of Ghana for their emphatic decision in the December 7th presidential and parliamentary elections. At this point, Mr. Speaker, it is finished. Right Honourable Speaker, I would like to thank the people of Ghana for electing His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the next president of the Republic of Ghana. The people of Ghana have once again shown that they can rise to the occasion when it matters the most. May I, at this point, acknowledge the hard work of our present 137 NDC members of Parliament for their dedication to duty, which has resulted in the unprecedented number of MPs elect for the NDC party. Mr. Speaker, I'm proud to announce that we were able to snatch over 50 parliamentary seats from our colleagues at the divide. We took more than 50 parliamentary seats from the ruling NPP party. Mr. Speaker, we have clearly shown that it is possible to reduce the NPP majority to Nkokwan Katenkate. Indeed, Nkokwan Katenkate is possible. Right Honourable Speaker, the night Parliament will be unique and interesting. It would be a contest of ideas between the super NDC majority and the mini-micro NPP minority. Mr. Speaker, what happened on the 7th of December polls was a revolution, the people's revolution, what I call it. It was a revolt against a government that is obstinate, insensitive, high-handed, and dismissive of public opinion. It was a revolt against a government that called people with dissenting views names, such as detractors, cynics, naysayers. Mr. Speaker, sometimes they call views of dissenting people as Sambalat, and Tobias. Ghanaians have clearly shown that they cannot be taken for granted, and that when it matters the most, they will either reward those in office or punish those in office. Right, Honorable Speaker, those in office.
That's Dr. Kesel Atufosin then. And Grace, let's stay a bit further on Dr. Kesel Atufosin, because he's raised concerns over the government's plan to purchase ships at an estimated cost of 140 million euros for the Ghana Navy. Speaking on the matter in Parliament earlier today, after the House resumed sitting, Dr. Atufosin criticized the proposal, describing it as unnecessary and a burden on the country's finances. He stressed that the minority NDC will strongly oppose such an expenditure, which he believes is not a priority for the nation at this time.
Commit an incoming government to millions of US dollars, which will be a fiscal strain on the next budget. The Speaker, I said this on the backdrop that before us, they are proposing to buy ships worth 140 million euros at this time. Mr. Speaker, it is very wrong for a government that is leaving office in 3 weeks, to commit 140 million euros. Mr. Speaker, if it is extremely important for the state, allow the new government to commit them. Right, Honorable Speaker, the tax exemptions before us, if approved, will have a fiscal burden in the next budget. So you are saying that the next government should carry your burden of $350 million? Mr. Speaker, no way. It's not going to happen. Right, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, there is no 2025 budget. Activities before us cannot commit to the 2025 budget. You don't know the priorities of the next government. Look, I reviewed the Hansard before coming here. The Honorable Chairman Bosu is a precedent to me. Okay, it's authority on this matter. In 2016, what he said to us, and it is for that reason why today we were not able to take the loan for Damango water. I brought Damango water before us. They said to us that you cannot commit the next government, and if it is urgent or important, allow the next government to take it. So, Mr. Speaker, issues that will commit this country, as long as our budget is concerned, Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that let us leave it for the next administration to handle. But there are other low-hanging fruits here, like the Environmental Protection Agency bill. It is only, we finished the bill, we have left with only the third reading.
So Dr. Kesel Atufosin, the minority leader there. And Grace, a few more away from Parliament.
Yes, Alfred, I like the fact that, I like how the two parties are all alluding to the fact that Ghanaians have power and can rise to the occasion when we want to. President-elect Mahama yesterday at his Thanksgiving service mentioned that so the NDC is very careful. I hope they just don't talk, but walk the talk, because at the end of the 4 years, indeed, if they don't live up to expectation. Clearly,
there's some sense of awareness amongst them when you speak to them, and even in public commentary. But then again, it's one thing saying, another thing doing. But it's a crucial time. The NDC, John Mahama has 4 years,
one term,
essentially one term, to do quite a number of things that he said he was going to do. I mean, he's aware of what power means to lose power and to win power.
Yes.
To that extent.
He's tested both, and so
said when he went out of power, the hampers stopped coming. Those things anyway. But yeah, let's
Alfred, yes, talking about Hammoah, he says his administration will not abandon the current International Monetary Fund IMF support program. In an interview with VOA, the president-elect said it was important, however, for the program to be adjusted to align with Ghana's development needs.
We're going to have to be dealing with stabilizing the economy. Unfortunately, in this circumstance, we have two major issues. One, macroeconomic stability, and two, debt sustainability. In all the other times that we've gone to the IMF, it's just been for macroeconomic stability, but we have twin problems now. And so we're going to continue the IMF program. We already have requested some discussion with the IMF because we're not part of the negotiation of this program. And so we need to look at how we can all be on the same wavelength in terms of implementing the program.
The president-elect has also reaffirmed his commitment to the continuation of the free senior high school policy, dismissing claims that his administration would abolish it. In that same interview, he noted that assertions by the NPP officials during the election campaign were unfounded political propaganda.
SHS has come to stay and it is not going anywhere. Nobody is going to scrap free SHS. What was said was political talk and it was just political gimmickry. Free SHS is not going anywhere. We're going to maintain the policy. What we're going to do is to get dedicated funding for it so that it is better resourced than it is currently. There's a lot of waste in the system. We're going to help to make it more efficient so that the teachers, the parents and the students get the best out of the free SHS. We're going to look at the basic school level too. Because we have focused on free SHS, we are abandoning the basic level. And so the basic level is becoming a major problem.
President-elect John Dramani Mahama in that interview with the Voice of America, VOA. Alfred, time now for us to do some business. And Michael Ogbedu is standing by to bring us all the latest in the world of business.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, Tree Crop Authority sets cashew price at 15 Ghana cedis per kilogram for 2025. We'll bring you the details shortly. I am Michael Ogbedu. Please stay tuned. We head straight into our top story as the Tree Crop Development Authority has announced a new minimum price of 15 Ghana cedis per kilogram for cashew nuts for the 2025 crop season. The authority's CEO, William Kwetu, explained that the price adjustment aims to compensate farmers for the operational cost incurred during the production process. This announcement comes in response to calls from cashew farmers in the Bunu region who recently appealed to the president to ensure the authority sets and announces the minimum producer price for raw cashew nuts before the December 7 general elections.
The price for the 2025 opening season raw cashew nut at 190 nut count 46 quality should be sold at 15 cedis per kilogram. That is the pricing. It is important to also mention here that because of the changes in these key parameters, cashew from this year will also, the price will be reviewed monthly. So if we are announcing the price today, we allow the price to prevail till the end of January 1st February, if these parameters have changed significantly, then tree crops and the industry, you yourselves, will come to review the price. And a new price will be given from the 1st of February.
That was William Kwetu. He is the Chief Executive of the Tree Crop Development Authority. In a related development, although Cocoa Board's financial position improved in 2023, the current financial year is proving challenging, the International Monetary Fund has stated. According to the Washington-based multilateral institution, notwithstanding record high spot market prices, the weak cocoa production in 2023-2024 poses significant challenges to Cocoa Board's ability to deliver on existing forward sales contracts. As a result, Ghana was unable to take full advantage of high international prices as part of the forward contracts carrying lower prices than current market prices had to be rolled over to the 2024-2025 season. The 2024-2025 farm gate price was increased by 50%, reflecting the high international prices and the need to reduce incentives to smuggle cocoa and or use cocoa farmland for illegal gold mining. Now, away from that, Head of Agriculture and Rural Transformation at the African Union Development Agency, Dr. Clement Agyemang, has stressed the importance of government investment and strategic measures to ensure the success of Ghana's homegrown school feeding policy. This initiative, championed by the African Union Development Agency, aims to promote local participation in food sourcing, thereby ensuring the sustainability of Ghana's school feeding program. Dr. Agyemang shared this insight with 3 Business at the recent Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Program and Food Systems Stakeholder Strategic Meeting held in Accra.
Well, implementation is where the rubber hits the road. Often we say Africa is not devoid of a good program or policies, but when it comes to implementation, it is the heavy lifting. So we have to invest more in programs and making sure that we put in place the necessary mechanisms that allow implementation to take place. For example, you need institution strengthening. You need to have your institutional capacity to implement programs. You need to build the human capacity that is required for program. We need to have investment, prioritized investment, and financing, public financing. We want to increase that, as well as making sure that we bring the necessary partnership. Private partnership must come into the fore and really support government to be able to really roll out implementation, because we need to create jobs.
And that was Dr. Clement Agyemang, who is the Head of Agriculture and Rural Transformation at the African Union Development Agency, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please visit our website, s3news.com/business. I am Michael Lubudu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.
Are you ready to party? Get ready for the most exciting event of the year is the 3FM All White Party 2024. The official end-of-year jam happens on the 28th of December at the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. And it's back, bigger and better. Mark your calendars on the 28th of December for the best Christmas party experience of the year, featuring live music performances from some of the hottest artists in GH and the hottest DJs to guarantee you dance the night away. Don't miss out on this ultimate party experience. Book your seat early by calling 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927. The 3FM All-White Party. We bring the party, you just bring the vibe. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
I wake up early every weekday because of you to keep you on top of your game. Yeah!
You are at the center of our universe. That's why we make it a duty to serve you only the freshest, hottest news and entertainment. When you want it, where you want it.
Good morning, Ghana, Africa, and the rest of the wonderful world. Welcome to Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Start your day well informed. Start with us on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Catch the all-new Sunrise Morning Show on 3FM 92.7 with me, Johnny Hughes, Helena Piampofo. Weekdays from 5:55 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on 3FM 92.7.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Radio Development Show Host of the Year 2016-2017.
And the winner is John Hughes. Check.
Hi, my name is Johnny Hughes, your community rights advocate, and I'm still on the quest to bring smiles into your communities with Community Connect on 3FM 92.7. Join me this and every Friday morning at 9 a.m. right here on 3FM, and together we will solve the problems bothering your communities.
I know your program is a program that always get a result. Myself, I'm a witness to that.
What can we do to help your community today in terms of education, health, sanitation, security, and all the issues in between from your community's perspective? Tune in to Community Connect every Friday morning at 9 a.m. as we get interactive live on radio and on Twitter at 3FM 927 and on Facebook at 3FM 92.7. Community Connect, helping solve your community problems.
Well, welcome back. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Grace, there's some news coming through right now.
Yes, Alfred, we're hearing of a tragic incident that happened around 11:30 a.m. today at Agyemang along the Prang to Kintampo Road in the Bono East region, where a police officer was fatally shot. Details we've gathered indicate that a funeral procession was underway and the mourners were headed to the cemetery. However, they encountered a police barrier which led to a confrontation. The situation escalated when one of the mourners insulted a female police officer, prompting her to call for backup. The responding officers clashed with the mourners and one officer gave some warning shots in an attempt to disarm him. People tried to take the gun away, but it accidentally went off, shooting his colleague in the abdomen. So our reporter Claude Ebisa, he is giving us the details and he joins us on phone. Claude, if you can hear me, update us on this whole incident and what the town looks like now.
Well, at the moment when you come to Agyemang, there's relatives come here. The police hierarchy has come in to ensure that it doesn't escalate further. So as we speak, some arrests have been made, and they're saying they are continuing with the investigation to ascertain the cause of whatever happened. So as we speak at the moment, the place is calm, and the case is now in the hands of the police. They've now taken charge.
All right. Claude, give us a background to this, how the whole incident happened and all.
Okay, early this morning around 11, there was a funeral at Agyemang. So just as you said, they were on their way to the cemetery to bury one of their own, and when they got to a police barrier, there was a barricade. So they forcefully removed the barricade which led to an altercation between the mourners and the police. And before they could realize, a policeman fired a warning shot. That angered them, and then they rushed on him to seize his rifle, which at the end, one of the police officers who had wanted to intervene to ensure that there's peace, unfortunately, the gun fired, and then it hits his abdomen, and he was rushed to the hospital, but he was pronounced dead on arrival. So basically, that was what transpired here.
You earlier mentioned that some arrests have been made. Do we know who has been arrested?
According to, I spoke to the Omanhene of Abase, that's Obrimpong Techi, and he confirmed that some of his people has been picked up. I think about 4 of them. They were the people who were struggling with the police. And then that resulted to the death of one of them. But as we speak, the policeman who fired his brother is at large, and they are looking for him. He's not being found. But so far, 3 of the people have been arrested.
So the policeman whose gun was fired is at large. The police can't find him now.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, Alfred, there you have the details of that unfortunate incident happening at Abiase in the Bono region. It's unfortunate the policeman had to lose his life in what could have easily been prevented. But, well, there we have it. Claude, thank you for bringing us those details. We know you are staying on that beat and will bring us any update as and when they come in. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so Alfred, let's move away from that and also talk about some health issues trending lately in the country, especially in the Western region, where the Ghana Health Service is on high alert because of the outbreak of cholera in that area. And the Ghana Health Service has begun a 4-day vaccination drive to contain the spread of cholera in 4 districts of the Western region. The decision follows a growing number of cholera cases and deaths being recorded in parts of the country, especially in the region and central regions, with the Eastern region becoming the epicenter of the outbreak in the country currently. Already 8 metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies in the Western region have been affected by the outbreak, with about 908 cases and 14 deaths recorded. Currently, we understand hospitals are overwhelmed, with the numbers resulting in some cases being attended to on benches and plastic chairs. Irama Smith is my colleague in the region who is following up on this. Ira, thank you for joining us. What can you tell us about the cholera situation in your area as of today?
Right. The cholera situation is very dire. It's very, very dire. All the health facilities are overfull. They have created makeshift wards outside. When you go to Ocansey Regional Hospital, that's the regional health facility, you find some tents outside where some patients are being cared for. At the Ocansey, usually they stabilize them and then they send them to the regional communicable disease unit. I also went to the Symington Hospital. Over there, they had turned the antenatal unit into a makeshift ward to cater for the cholera patients. There are accidents, emergency, as well as OPD. Also, you find people lying on benches, on the floor. Everywhere it's filled. So the situation is very, very dire. And you know, you speak to people and someone will tell you, I just bought corn. I just bought an orange to drink and then to eat. And then I started having the diarrhea and all that. So it's very, very dire.
And we know the Ghana Health Service began the vaccination exercise in the region today. Were you privy to how it went?
Yeah, they actually began yesterday, and it is going very well. I spoke to the regional coordinator, and he told me that as of yesterday, they were able to vaccinate about almost 1,000 people. You know, it's very popular. People are going for it. So everything is going on well as far as the vaccination is concerned.
Era, talk to us about the sanitary conditions in the region. Do we see any change because of the outbreak, or it is as it was?
With the sanitary situation, it's a challenge because, there's no water. The challenge is the unavailability of water in the metropolis and beyond. Because, apart from the Galamsey activities that is undermining the efforts of the Ghana Water Company, we are also in the dry season. So it's difficult to get water unless you have the borehole or well in your house. So that is a challenge. Another thing, too, is waste management.
It's unfortunate, but we need the funds urgently. That is the reason we are out there not telling us. So we have sent letters to the ministry.
But you find field beans and others around. There has been an announcement. In fact, the Ghana Health Directorate, the Regional Health Directorate, has called on the city authorities. The focus now is on the Sekendi Takoradi metro area, the Efiakwesi municipal area, the Samar district, and then the Ahanta West municipality. So the directorate has called on them to manage the sanitation, but it looks like they are also overwhelmed. So some are being evacuated, but there are some also there. One other challenge is that the vegetable growers, especially cabbage and then lettuce, as well as carrots, they usually use water from the gutter. You see? So when people go for them and they don't treat it well before eating, it becomes a challenge. Last week, the Sekendi Takoradi Metro, it wasn't the Sekendi, it was the regional RCC. They gave a directive that food vendors should stop selling vegetables with their food. So now you go, you buy your wachi, you won't get salad to add.
So it means when you buy wachi, you can't get salad. When you buy jollof, you can't get salad because of these health concerns.
Yes, you can't get these things because they stop them. Now there's a ban on it. You buy food from outside, you won't get any vegetables to add. So everything is just dry like that. So these are some of the measures that they are putting in to help to address the situation. But it is not easy. When you go there, it's pathetic. It's not easy.
Ira, thank you for bringing us those updates. And you also take care of yourself so that you don't add up to the numbers. Irama Smith, my colleague in the Western region, updating us on the cholera situation in that area. And Alfred, it is very serious how she puts it. People just buy orange and the next day they are getting cholera.
Yeah,
it's
a sad one.
Yeah, it is.
Honestly,
and already 10 people have died.
I think we would also need to be asking questions of the Ghana Health Service because they gave us that assurance that they had activated a response mechanism across the country. Because this cholera outbreak started almost 2 months ago.
In Ada, somewhere in the eastern region. And now the western region has now become the epicenter. So how it traveled from the eastern region through the central region to the western region, all begs some answers.
Absolutely. And before we go, some parents are expecting their children who sat for the West African Senior Secondary Certificate Examination, that's WASI, to have their results released before the end of the year. It appears that may not happen if there is no intervention for the West African Examination Council to have their money. In fact, government owes them money into millions of Ghana cedis. Very, very long. And they had indicated even before the elections that if the money is not released to them, they cannot guarantee the release of the results before the end of the year. And John Kapi speaks for WAEC. It appears the expectations have not been fulfilled.
It's unfortunate, but we need the funds urgently. That is the reason we are out there not telling us. So we have sent letters to the ministry. We have also put out a press statement indicating the challenges we have. So as we speak, I cannot give any definite date on which the results will be released because these challenges are thought that to be taken care of. So far, we've enjoyed some goodwill from our suppliers in particular because in our last press statement, we indicated we appealed to them to be patient with us. We would, as soon as monies are released from the ministry, would be able to settle our indebtedness with them. As we speak, they sent us some money, about some 32 million, and so we've started paying those who marked the examination papers.
John Kapi speaks for the West African Examination Council there.
Alfred, some weeks ago, there was news all over social media and traditional media about the statue of the president in the Western region.
Yes.
Well, this morning...
The one sprayed gold.
Yes.
Yeah,
which was inaugurated by himself.
Yeah.
Inaugurating a statue of yourself by yourself.
Yeah.
This morning... We woke up to the news that the statue had been vandalized.
Oh.
Yeah, and the police have commenced investigation into the damage caused to the statue of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo at Efie Nkwanta Regional Hospital runabout in Sekondi in the Western Region. Police preliminary investigation revealed that the statue's left leg has been damaged and its plaque removed. In the lead up to the December 7 general election, some youth in Sekondi had advocated for the statue's removal if the NPP government lost the elections. In a statement, the police said efforts are underway to get the perpetrators arrested. Here is Ramesh reports on the state of the statue.
Residents of Sekondi Takrady woke up on Monday morning to the news that the statue of our president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has been vandalized. You will recall that this statue is being followed with keen interest across the country since it was unveiled here by the president himself, with many residents within the metropolis asking why this had to be put up, especially as, according to them, the NPP government hasn't done much to warrant such recognition. The NDC communications officer for the Western Region, Richard Kirk-Mensah, was the one who had started the campaign to get this relocated. Indeed, he even said that after December 7, he will lead the effort to relocate the statue to Chebi. Subsequently, he said it will be relocated to a shrine. But some youth of Sekondi were agitating that the statue should be removed immediately. However, it had been left peacefully until this morning. Vendors close by tell us that they came this morning to meet the vandalized nature of the statue. This is quite close to the Efie Nkwanta Regional Hospital with no residential facilities nearby, so it is difficult to get anybody to tell us exactly when this happened. But the vendors around tell us they came to meet it.
And a pair of Mabana, I'm going to do an us. I didn't know behind the day. You probably no make us back and I yet, though I thought today will be. Then I can't understand. So, oh, I did well now. Ebe, once I have a talakakra, no, I can cremoma. Did the papanala or bahano banaway.
For the first place, a dear was so your mother's stage one yet. Now one can sound to me born Wabaso, this will be Boabaso. Yenya Yamabe, Unye. A signal temper for say. On the transfer, on me here. Emma or mine, was statue just way, and Mammy Grenindi.
It's a yana saying it. Your more,
yet. What I say? Your Omu or Mamma de Bessie or Roman ye, and I do Busu or Burusu, one in a year.
Oh, on your mother in Abutan. Ghana the Chile do and Sana what didn't be, but what I see the bottom what didn't be based on. But on your Ghana for you. I don't hear in Febia, Sabisabaya present us on handover. Or do when you're Abutan. There's someone when you're Abutan.
Well, Alfred, so you've heard it from the residents. They are a bit divided about the presence of the statue, while some say, well, the statue will not give them food to eat. Others also say it is not a good sign. It's a sign of disrespect to the president, who is still the sitting president, and so we should allow the statue to be.
No, well, I get the sense that the condemnation is not so much about, you know, the presence of the statue. It's about the attempted destruction of the statue. Because right now, one leg is, the left leg is off. You know, the pictures you can find on our social media. So you have them condemning the attempted destruction, but after the statue being there, I think they were unanimous that it's needless.
They didn't want it there.
It shouldn't be there. But talk about expectations. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, they've called on President-elect John Dramani Mahama to set up a pre-tertiary education funding act to address infrastructural deficits in schools. General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, spoke with our correspondent, Daniel Opoko, earlier today.
Ghana's education has been bedeviled with numerous challenges. It includes deficits in infrastructure and issues about delays in the payment of capitation grants. Other challenges include high enrollment rates without a commensurate support. Already, the free SHS has come under severe scrutiny from education experts. A former Minister of Finance, Tekpe, has suggested that the Category A schools should be exempted from free SHS. The President-elect, John Dramani Mahama, has emphasized a stakeholder engagement to address challenges of pre-tertiary education. Ahead of that, General Secretary of NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, is of the view that a Pre-Tertiary Education Act could resolve the education problems.
And if there is a dedicated funding, then in the law it will be indicated that 2 weeks to the reopening of the academic year, all the monies that the school needs must go by law. So that if school reopens and we go and there is no money there, we can challenge. That is where we are now. These things must have we must have a legislation on it. And like I am saying, if we do not have a dedicated funding, government will tell you, I don't have money. What do you do?
He proposed that funding to the act should come from property rates and taxes.
We have the PTA contribution. Parent-Teacher Association, they contribute in several ways. It could find its way into the act. We legalize it, giving parents opportunity. The second thing we can do is that we find a way of taxing the rich to take care of the poor. We need to find a way of taxing the rich in society to take care of the poor. Let the Ghanaians be assured that the money we are taking from you will go to the poor. We are talking about this property rate. Some portion, we can take some portion of it and go there. And above, I don't think any Ghanaian will complain.
That's Thomas Musa Tanko, General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers there.
Alfred, let's go to the Volta region, specifically the Botoku community in the North Dine district, where a technical institute established there in 2017 is on the verge of collapse due to the absence of the principal of the school, who has deserted the post for more than a year. The continuous absence of Edem Ansong, the school's principal, has created a significant void, leading to a drastic decline in enrollment. My colleague Faisal Abdul-Idrisu joins us with updates from the region. Faisal, if you can hear me, what more do we know about this development?
Well, so the Botoku Technical Institute we are talking about was only revived quite recently when it actually started as the Center for Employable Skills as far back as the early 90s. So in 2016, when the school was finally revived, it took the community and some key stakeholders to push that it was converted into a TVET institution, which was just done last year. Now, after that was done, Mr. Edemason was posted there as the principal for the school. But the information we gathered and what I have done so far indicate that he hasn't been at post since he was posted. The school recently, when I visited, has only 8 volunteer teachers who are handling the school, with one Victor Abochi, a retired educationist, who is leading now as the acting principal. I followed up on the issue to the TVET office. But before then, let's really listen to what those on campus, Mr. Abochi has been telling us about the absence of the principal and how it is affecting the...
Because of his absence, I have to come back home, leaving all that I'm doing to come and supervise the school. We need a replacement. Otherwise, the school is going to face another shutdown. My fear is that if the teachers are not brought and the school collapses again, we are only increasing.
We had a volunteer teacher from Botoku. Faisal, you told us that the absence of Mr. Asong has affected enrollment or the number of students in the school. Talk to us, what is the current number and how drastic has the decline been when it comes to enrollment?
Well, so when the school commenced again somewhere last year, they had some 49 students to start with. But as I speak to you, that number has declined drastically to just about 25. Then for this academic year, because there is no principal in charge, the school actually lacks direction. They don't know what they are doing currently. And so for this academic year, they only got 6 students so far admitted into the school.
All right. We know you've also been speaking to some of the students there. Let's listen to them.
The way things are in the school, I'm not happy. We don't have enough teachers. The principal too is not coming regularly, and the classroom too is not nice to attract students to come here. So I'm not happy as a student being here.
Faisal, briefly, so I let you go. You mentioned that you went to the TVET Council. What answers did they give you? Do they know why Mr. Ansong has not reported to his post yet? What is the way forward for the school? Well, I guess we have lost. Okay.
They told me that they are aware of Mr. Anson's absence from the school for a while now. I met Mr. Ansong himself at the time I was at the office of the regional director. I asked why he hasn't been at post, and he indicated that he has since gone.
Hello, Faisal.
That lawfully.
Faisal, you were making a point when you met Mr. Ansong. Please start on the explanation he gave you. We lost you somewhere.
Yes. So at the TVET directorate here in the region, I met the director, who indicated to me that they are aware of the situation in the school, and are also aware that Mr. Adam Asson has not been at post for some time now. At the time I was speaking to the director, Mr. Asson himself was present, and so he admitted not being at post for some time now. However, he indicated that he's gone for further studies, even though there are no proper documentations to indicate that he's done that lawfully. The directorate is telling us also that they are taking steps to resolve the issue by way of ensuring that they get in place a principal that will now steer the affairs of the school and also ensure that enrollment issues are resolved. As to what the directorate will be doing to Mr. Asong, who has actually left post for more than a year, the directorate was tightly on it. They will not even speak to me on record, but these are the key issues they spoke to, that they are very much aware of his absence and that they are taking steps to ensure that the school gets running once and for all.
All right, Faisal, thank you for those updates. Faisal Abdul Idris, who is my colleague in the Volta region.
Yeah, that's Faisal there, you know.
Yeah.
It's, the other day I was talking to him on the television. It says it's Faisal. Faisal. Anyway, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Hot Edition. On behalf of the rest of the team, we appreciate your company. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3. We're also going to be live on 3FM 92.7 for Ghana Tonight. I'm Alfred Ocansey.
My name is Grace Hammoah Agyemang. Thank you for spending the last 90 minutes with us. See you.
My people, are you ready to party?